start again. It's a Redskin.
She did them, you know, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, you know. And I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, you know, and tell her, please stop taking them. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, is she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people who never seen her.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, you know, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, you know, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of The Sopranos are dead now.
I had my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. You know, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
You know, by 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every, pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then, we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. You know, the damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So, if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change, and for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And so, if you want a new life and start a new journey of a lifetime, you've come to the right place. You want to drink? That's your business. You want to stop drinking? That's our business. Welcome to Recovery Tube.
Hey guys, what's going on? Good to see everybody. I decided to make this one a little bit earlier because I have to take my stepson clothes shopping because he has to go back to school, and he has baseball practice at like 4:45. So I don't have a whole lot of time today, you know. I didn't do an FBS in the morning show today because I don't know. I think my birthday present to myself this year is kind of sort of taking a day off, but we'll see. I'll most likely do one later. Who knows? You know me. But anyway, we're here for addiction and recovery, and we could talk about that. I am tired, in case you haven't noticed. Not tired like I didn't get enough sleep. I got enough. I just woke up, though, not that long ago, like 40 minutes ago. We went to bed late because we were up watching movies and shit. I had a great day, guys. Fantastic birthday. I couldn't have asked for more. Between everything you guys did for me and Shanna and my mom, you know, my whole family, we had a great day. We went out to eat. Everybody, we had a ball. It was an awesome time. And of course, I thought about many times throughout the day my recovery. I did. When we went to the restaurant yesterday, the first place they tried to seat us was in the bar section. And I said, no, thank you. Now it's not like I can't sit there and handle myself or be okay sitting near the bar, but why would I even put myself in that position? Why not just sit in the dining room area? You know, I don't want to sit near the fucking bar. Not necessary. If you have to, sometimes you have to, but otherwise, why do it? You know what I mean? Sally, good morning. Miss Can't Be Wrong. Good to see you as always. Sven Larson. Baby A. Hey, Baby A. Jason Mikesell. Thanks, brother. Ronan456. Dave. That's Faxby. FGF Productions. Same to you, my man. Paul Atkinson. Did I shout you out yet? I feel like I did already. Casey Robinson. Good to see you, brother. Who else we got? War. Hey, buddy. Who else? Ranger Fan 11. Good to see you. I second that. R.I.P. Chelsea. Yeah. Yep. Rest in peace. Such a sad tragedy. Who else we got? Thank you, Casey. Thank you. I love that intro. I love the music and stuff. It couldn't be more perfect. I did a good job on that one. I'll give myself credit for that. I'm off today and tomorrow. I've worked like 14 out of the last 16 days. It's a lot. But I'm glad you're off today and tomorrow. Enjoy it. Let's see. All right, that's it for the shout outs. I fucked up today, guys, because I scheduled this show late because I couldn't make up my mind all night. Do I want to do a morning show and then an addiction and recovery show, or do I just want to do an addiction and recovery show? And I asked Shanna about it. I said, Shanna, how do you feel about me not doing a regular show? The original plan was me not doing a show, period. Then I remembered it's Wednesday, you know? The dogs. Got to do an addiction and recovery show. Have to. You know? So I said, how do you feel about me only doing an addiction and recovery show? And she was fine with it. See, you got to understand, it's like me taking a day off work, you know? So anyway, What was I saying? I forget. I don't know, but that was the plan. And the plan is still to just do this show, but we'll see. Oh, what I was saying is, because it was late and I scheduled late, I forgot to fucking put this on both channels. So now it's only on the Fat Bald-Sicilian channel, unfortunately, which sucks because I want to build up that other channel. But the next show, I guess, I'll make sure not to fuck that up. I'm trying to wean myself off the nicotine and weed that always screws with your appetite and sleep. Well, nicotine I got to work on. Weed, yeah, see that too. I don't know. You know, I imagine though, anything you do long enough, you know, your body's going to have to adjust when you start to wean yourself off. Especially weed, because weed probably is what put you to sleep. You know, weed probably is what you would use to go to sleep. Now you don't have it. Nicotine, don't even get me started. You know, to an extent, it's all in your head, the addiction to nicotine, I think. I really, truly think that. But it certainly doesn't seem that way sometimes. Like if we're in hotels, right, I could go outside, like if we're in a hotel, I should say. I could go outside, I could smoke a cigarette, I could come back upstairs, you know, lay in bed for a fucking hour and a half like I like to do, and then go to sleep. No problem. No problem. Okay, and then I'll sleep through the night without waking up once. No problem. When I'm at home, I have to smoke a cigarette immediately before I turn over to go to sleep. And then I wake up throughout the night to smoke, which is, you know, insane. Insane. So, yeah, nicotine is a motherfucker, man. It is. I'm feeling more and more every day like I seriously need to quit soon. I know I keep saying that, but I don't have much of a choice anymore, I don't think. I feel like shit from smoking. It helps my pain, so I won't stop. With what, weed? Well, if it helps your pain, it's a hell of a lot better than taking painkillers. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I gain weight when I stop smoking. Haha. Well, you probably do because you eat more when you're not smoking. You know, it's like having that taste of a cigarette in your mouth kind of calms your appetite, I think. You know, but when you got nothing going on in there and you're used to smoking, it just, I don't know. It makes you eat more. That's one thing I ain't fucking doing. I don't even like eating a lot anymore. I eat so little. Last night we had a huge fucking meal. I mean, oh my God. And I was fucking stuffed and I didn't even feel good afterwards. I was like, oh, this is fucking miserable. I feel like I'm going to fucking explode. So I ain't doing that shit. There's a physical addiction, though, for sure. I know people say that, and I believe it because, why else would people say it? But I never felt it. I told you guys, I've gone to jail, and I've sat there forever without a fucking cigarette. And I, other than mental cravings, I had no physical withdrawal whatsoever. None whatsoever. I've been in the hospital so many times. You know what I mean? I go in the hospital. I'm in critical condition for 12 fucking days. Even when I'm semi-alert laying in bed, I crave one, but I don't feel anything. Then again, I'm so fucked up from other shit. You know what I mean? Heart problems, everything else. Maybe I am feeling it. I just don't realize it. I attribute it to somebody or something else. My brother had a stroke, and that was it. He has not smoked a cigarette since. He just stopped cold turkey. It is so hard to quit. It is. 11 years ago. Nice. All this talk about cigarettes makes me want a cigarette. Weed is all mental, dude. My appetite takes a while to come back when I slow down. I've been smoking weed daily for years. So you actually, what do you mean? You lose your appetite? When you're smoking a lot of weed? That's odd. Because you said it comes back when you slow down, huh? I never heard of some shit like that. Fucking weed is making people eat a lot, fat. It's making them fat, you know, fucking the munchies and shit. But yeah, it is all mental. It is. I mean, and believe me, like I said, I still believe cigarettes are all mental also, but definitely weed is just a scientific fact. There is no physical withdrawal that comes from it. But it's the same exact thing with coke and crack. There is no physical withdrawal. It's just your brain wants it so fucking bad. The cravings are, you know, insane. But weed, you know, I told you, man, how I feel about weed sometimes. I know it might sound goofy to compare it to something like weed or crack or something, but I'm fucking telling you, man. Or just powder, especially powder, because I know powder well. And I'm telling you, I never needed powder the way my pothead friends need weed. Never. Oh my fucking God. It's like a constant fucking thing. They got to be smoking from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to fucking sleep. It's like they can't be high enough. I don't even understand that kind of tolerance. I take 3 hits off a blunt, I want to die. I feel fucking horrible. But some guys, man, I mean, I watch motherfuckers smoke like a half ounce a fucking day. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's like, what the fuck, man? I couldn't even imagine. Probably more, probably like an ounce. I don't know for sure, but I know I've known people who smoke a half an ounce. Who knows what they're smoking now? But man, the way people fiend for weed is unbelievable. I've had people come to me like desperate to borrow money to buy weed. I'm like, what the fuck do you need weed for, bro? You're not addicted to weed. Like mentally you are, but not physically. You don't need it. You know, it's just like powder. If at my peak, for whatever reason, and this literally I don't think ever happened to me, when I'm talking about at my peak of addiction, if I went without coke, I was fine. Like, in other words, I was never forced to. But there would be days like I was fucking doing probably a ball a day. I was drinking probably a fifth, at least. No, I was drinking more than that, way more than that, of rum, whatever, a day. Something 80 proof minimum. And I remember I had to get up. I was actually looking for a job. I went to a job fair for like 3 or 4 hours. Then after that, while I was still, you know, dressed nice and everything, I went to see family. And I was there the entire day. So I was out of the house from like maybe 8 a.m. until 9 or 10 at night. And the only thing that was bothering me then was alcohol withdrawal. Now, I hadn't been, you know, I don't know how severely addicted I was, because otherwise the alcohol withdrawal I wouldn't have been able to do it, you know. But I remember at the time I was just getting real bad shakes and shit that day. Like me and some family members went somewhere and I had to do something. Like I had to write something out. It was humiliating. My family doesn't know I'm an alcoholic. And they're watching me write, and my hand's bouncing off the paper like this. So I got to hold my hand down and try to write as slowly as possible. You know what I mean? And every, you know, the lines are all, you could barely read what I'm writing. And they're looking at me like, you know, like that's like that scene in Leaving Las Vegas when he tries to, you know, sign the check or whatever, or write out a check in the fucking bank. And he has to go get a bunch of drinks first. But, you know, the coke, it didn't even bother me. It was like nothing. And there was other times like that. Of course, I'd have to go hours or you know, a whole day sometimes without coke. It was like, I craved it, but it was no big deal. You know what I mean? Even, you know, while I was doing shit pretty heavy, you know, I went and got a third shift job. This is during that time where I didn't work much for a few years and I was just, you know, hustling and getting fucked up. I decided to get a job at a printing place, you know, like a factory, you know, with a printing press and all that good shit. And I got a job third shift there, and I would go to work every night and just work through the night, no big deal. But I would get a lunch break, and the place was only 10 minutes from my house. So I'd shoot to my house and do a few lines, say what's up to everybody in the block because they were out all night, and then I would go back. But that's what got me with that job, was like I would leave and go see what everybody's doing on the block, and I'd be like, I want to be here. I don't want to be there. So that job didn't last real long. But the point is, though, that I could go there every night and not do. I mean, of course, like I said on my lunch break, but what's that? That's a couple of lines or something. I'm talking about an 8-hour shift, whatever, with nothing other than that. It was not a problem. So I don't know. You think these things would be easier to quit because of that, but they're really not. Because mental addiction is so strong. It's just that, like, you don't need it. In other words, you're not going to die if you don't have it. You're not going to get sick if you don't have it. So weed always blew my mind. It's like, you motherfuckers are like desperate for your weed. It's like, what the fuck is going to happen if you don't have it? Nothing. You just want it. Same thing with powder. Same thing with crack cocaine. You just want it. You don't need it. But that doesn't make it any easier not to do it, does it? Nope. I mean, look at me. I knew I didn't need it, and I still did it for years at a time. I felt like I had to. So, FPS, I do the same shit with nicotine, bro. I wake up at 3 a.m. and smoke. Well, yeah. I've been keeping my cigarettes and shit far away from me now when I go to sleep. This way, mentally, it's like, the cigarettes aren't right there. And because of that, it's actually helped. Like last night, I slept. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't go to fucking sleep till like 4 a.m. And I don't go to bed late like that anymore. But when me and Shanna are having a good time or going out, or hanging out, whatever, I go to bed late. And I slept from 4 o'clock to like 11:45 or something without waking up once. So, but what happens with me a lot, though, is I wake up constantly and look at the clock too. So I generally usually wake up several times during the night, whether it's to smoke or not. I like how the intro has the actors dropping the walls and showing humility, that they are people with addictions like us, battling it every day. Oh yeah, Casey. Well, that's why it's not like I looked for actors who had addiction issues, to interview them. I would reach out to people, get an okay on the interview, and then fucking, research. Some of them I already knew, like Lilo Brancato. I knew Robert Eiler had some addiction issues, but some of them I didn't know about, like Joe Perino. I actually got that interview and, Shakes from Sleepers. I didn't find out until I was researching him that he had addiction issues and stuff, and a couple of others too. So I would make that part of the fucking interview. Like Lilo Brancato, I asked him to come on the show strictly for addiction recovery, just to do a show about his addiction. That's it. And you saw what it turned into. But yeah, I like having those clips from those guys, And there's more I have. I just got to switch it up sometime. Intros and stuff. When I smoked cigarettes, I would wake up to smoke and smoke half asleep. I was in a smoking house, so I could smoke from my couch. Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. You burn shit. You almost light the fucking house on fire. I've done it a couple of times. Several times. I can't even tell you how many fucking sets of sheets and stuff fucked up. My brother was real bad, man. I remember when we were younger and shit. He would fucking wake up with the cigarette in his or he'd wake up, light a cigarette, fall asleep with it in his hand, burn the fucking carpet and shit. It's like, Jesus Christ. Now I have this vape and use it as a pacifier. LOL, I vape in my sleep, literally. Yeah, well, I promised myself. Actually, I promised myself I would do it yesterday, but then I moved that promise to today. I said, okay, at some point today, I'm going to smoke my last cigarette, at least for a while, and I'm just going to use the vape for as long as I can. And then I'm going to do that tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So I'm all ready. My vape is all charged and ready to go. We'll see how it works out. FBS, the good thing is I'm a slim dude and extra weight isn't a bad thing. Yeah, I have seen you. You are you are slim without a doubt. So that's true. You know, me, it's like I can't I got to worry about everything. Just sodium, you know. Even today I woke up from that big dinner we had last night. You guys might not be able to tell, but my face is all swollen now just from the fucking fluid, from the heart failure and shit, from eating all that fucking sodium. That's why when I'm at home, I don't eat high sodium foods. But when I go out, what are you going to do? The fuck are you going to eat at a restaurant that's not filled with fucking sodium for the most part, especially if you like Italian food? You know, it's like, come on. So it happens. Best time to smoke after a meal and sex. Yeah, those are definitely two great times to smoke. See, for me too, it's also like any job I've ever worked. Smoking breaks are like something to look forward to. They make your night go quicker. It's like, okay, at whatever time I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, and then a couple hours after that, at a certain time, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. You know, and it kind of chills you out while you're at work if you're stressed out or anything. Definitely. Also, the THC CBD transdermal patches. I didn't even know they had those. Jail, I was in there for 2 months. I was able to overcome nicotine addiction easily, probably because it's jail, and you're more worried about not getting punked and fucked with than smoking a cig. Yeah. But I bet you as soon as you walked out the fucking door, you smoked a cigarette, right? You lose your appetite when you stop smoking weed? I quit smoking cigarettes on Father's Day of 2013. Yeah, that's a good day to do it, man. Props to you for your kids. Okay, my mouse just went crazy. Give me a second here. I don't know what the issue is. All right. Get back to where the fuck I was, if I can. I should have quit in 2019. 40 days in the hospital. I didn't smoke. Should have quit then. I'm an idiot. I came home and smoked my brains out. Damn. I know, man. Me too. You know, every time I went to jail, every time I was in the hospital, like if you go even a couple of weeks without a cigarette, there's no reason you should have to smoke anymore, but you still do. I mean, even after months, I've gone months without cigarettes, and it's like I don't even after a couple of weeks, I don't even feel the cravings really anymore. But the second I walk out that fucking gate, I can't find a cigarette fast enough. It's you know, it bothers me too, man, because I do see it as a weakness. I mean, it's definitely a weakness, no matter how you look at it. You know, I knew motherfuckers, man, that said, that's it. For whatever reason, financial, health, that's it. I'm done. I'm never smoking a cigarette again. And they just did it. No problem. My friend Troy did that shit when we were like maybe 19, 20 years old. I remember I was at his crib and he was like, well, bro, it's my last cigarette. I said, what do you mean? Why? He's like, I got to quit, man. This motherfucker was cheap as could be. He said, I can't deal with the fucking the money, spending this much money on cigarettes anymore. He smoked a cigarette that day, and I never saw him smoke a cigarette since. And I was around him until I was in my late 30s, you know? So some people can do it. My dad got a blood clot in his lung at one point. He kind of severed his Achilles tendon. Long story. And he was bedridden for a while. And he wound up with a blood clot in his lung. He almost died and never smoked a cigarette after that. Yeah, FBS, I know ridiculous stoners like that. Their tolerance is crazy. Oh, it's fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. I loved ciggies. I don't want to quit. I had to. Yeah. So do I. I never liked weed, just don't like how I felt. Stupid, hungry, horny. Horny, never for me. Weed with me, I always used to say, I used to make people laugh. And I said it on this show a bunch of times. I'm already, you know, too fat, tired, hungry, and paranoid. I don't need weed. You know, it's the last thing I fucking need. I don't smoke weed at all anymore. Last few times I smoke, I smoked. I felt like a cloudy hangover the next day. I grew out of some things. Yeah, I don't. Let me tell you something. I was with a friend the other day. I sent Miss Can't Be Wrong a picture. Dude had an L that was like this fucking long. No bullshit. I was like, bro, the fuck? I had to take a picture. Let me take a picture of this bullshit. Oh, fuck. How much weed is in that L, bro? It was huge. It was enormous. I don't know, man. They fucking potheads can't get enough weed. It's unbelievable. Like, I could only do so much coke when I was using, but fucking weed is like it's limitless, you know, because you ain't gonna die from it. But isn't there a point when you get too high, like with weed? Isn't there a point where you're like, oh no, like with drinking? You know, like I drank too much. I'm fucking sick. When you lay down in bed and close your eyes and the whole entire fucking world is spinning, you know, when it feels like that, you drank too much. You know, if you start throwing up or some shit, you drank too much. There's a million different indicators that you have drank too much. But with weed, it's like I don't know. Do you get so high to a point where you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have taken the last couple of hits, or I shouldn't have smoked that last L or something? I don't know. I think when you're on cocaine and coming off, that desire to not feel miserable coming down makes you want more at all costs. But that's when I'm on it. When I'm off it, I find it easy to stay off until I drink. Yeah, I know. That puts a lot of people right back on cocaine drinking. That's why, you know, you got to stop everything, at least in most people's cases, because like I always say, man, everything's a good idea when you're drinking. And alcohol and cocaine are probably the best drug combination in the history of the fucking world that I know of anyway. So, you know, you don't want to do one without the other anymore. The minute you drink, I don't care if you've been off powder cocaine for 9 years, you will get a fucking instant craving as soon as you start drinking. And it's like, you kill for a bag of Coke. LOL, I grew up to my aunt would take me to the store and back. Then you could smoke in stores. Crazy. Oh, yeah. We were telling my stepson about that yesterday, me and Shanna. It's like we used to be able to walk around the malls and smoke in the fucking malls. I remember my favorite store on 86th Street was the Music Stop. Of course, we would walk 86th Street all the time when we were there, go in every fucking store. But the Music Stop is my favorite fucking store. And I remember when you could go in there smoking. I mean, they got fucking records, turntables, speakers, all types of equipment. And the motherfucker would have an ashtray right on the counter. Any of you know the Music Stop on 86th Street? As soon as you walk in, the counter was right there on the left, like with the cash register and stuff. And then back towards, you know, as you walk to the back, it's like turntables and records and all that shit. And he would have an ashtray right in this fucking thing, you know? And that was in the 90s, probably the mid to late 90s, but you could smoke anywhere. Anywhere. I think airplanes used to have fucking ashtrays, didn't they? Like you could smoke in planes. That's not, now that I understand why people wouldn't want that. You're in a fucking like a hermetically sealed capsule, you know, and you got to sit there with other people smoking your fucking face. Chris Capello, good afternoon, FBS, my brother. Hope you enjoyed your birthday. Thank you for everything you do. Oh, no problem. Same to you, man. Thank you. No, I had a great fucking day, man. We had a really good time. I was just sitting there with the whole fucking family eating dinner and shit. And I'm like, man, this is great. I'm so fucking lucky. And then last night, guys, people were sending me donations all night for my birthday. Or not even, let's call them gifts, you know, for my birthday. And I got some shout outs to do on the next show because not everybody's here right now. But SL Gordon 3 sent me $100. I got a bunch. I have to go over them and read them then. It's a great night. Great fucking night. I was like, look how good people are. Like me and Shanna were out later and I got a fucking Cash App for $100 from SL Gordon 3 and I showed it to Shanna. I was like, you see how fucking great these people are to us? Oh my God. Unbelievable. Weed, you're right. FBS, you want shit constantly. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, it's like, well, calm down. You don't need that shit. But I really can't say that because that's what people used to say to me about coke. You know, I just don't understand weed. To me, weed is the worst fucking drug in the world. I don't mean like dangerous wise or anything. I mean, I have never. Well, okay, my entire life, I've drank alcohol. I've done cocaine. I've done acid. I did ecstasy once. And as far as drugs, I think that's it for me. Okay. Well, let me go over the list again. I smoked weed, obviously. I drank. I did cocaine. I did acid and ecstasy. That's it. And I have never had a drug make me feel terrible like weed does. I mean, I get panic attacks when I smoke weed. Like I remember, I don't. This is a horrible fucking story, man. All right, I'll just tell it. It's an addiction recovery show, and I never told this one. So, I guess it would be a few months after I got out of the fucking psych ward. I had stayed clean and sober. Well, I wasn't drinking at least for a couple of months, few months, whatever. I was still doing powder after the first. I don't know. I don't remember the exact fucking timeline. But I started doing powder again before I started drinking again. And I had to do it. You know, I couldn't do lots because my heart always got out of control. And that's why I would need to drink. It's one of the reasons. But I was at many points throughout my life, whether if I just committed a serious crime, I felt like I needed to be, you know, on the run sort of, or if some crazy shit was going on at home, or if I was out of town for whatever reasons, you know, I would be in hotels. You know what I'm saying? And I was in this hotel. I think I only had the room for like, I think it was only a night. I think this is when I don't remember exactly, but for whatever reason, I left Ada's one night. I went to this hotel and I got a room. Okay, and I had a friend with me. This kid, we'll just call him Dash. I had him with me, and I had so much coke in this room, it was ridiculous. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, I didn't have a couple of 8-balls. You know, I had a lot. And it was all like I had a bunch of it fucking like on a pile on the fucking desk in the hotel. And we were just doing line after line and fucking drinking. And we called a guy we knew to send some strippers over to the room and shit. You know what I mean? And we're partying. And afterwards, you know, we were hanging the fuck out. We were still doing good because we were doing coke and alcohol all night. So, you know, the coke kills the effects of the alcohol kills the effects of the coke. You could just keep going on and on and on. And this motherfucker rolls an L and talks me into smoking some weed. Now, I had been doing cocaine and alcohol all fucking night. Okay? No problems. This dude gives me, for whatever reason, I think I was trying to come down a little bit. I take a few hits off this L. Guys, I had a panic attack. When I don't know if you guys have ever had anxiety attacks like this, but it feels like somebody reached into your chest, squeezed your heart, and just started pulling on it. It's the scariest shit in the world. And I was convinced because I had done so much coke that night that I was finally having a massive fucking heart attack. And I remember I ran into the fucking bathroom. I don't know why. The bathtub was empty, of course, but I like laid down in the bathtub and I'm clutching my fucking chest. This guy gets scared shitless and just bounces, just darts out of the fucking room and took off. He's thinking I'm dying now. Unbelievable. And it was the weed. You know what I mean? It's like, there was only one time when I was living on Boundary Avenue, I had neighbors, you know, the houses were connected and not like row homes. It was just two houses connected. And the guys next door, he smoked weed. And one night I fucking, I had no alcohol and I was coming down. So I took a couple of hits off an L or some shit. And I went to sleep. I slept like a fucking baby, even after just, you know, doing all that coke that I did that day or whatever. So that time it worked out for me, but usually no. My addictions, there was almost a routine every 2 hours without looking at the time. I drop what I was doing to have a cigarette. Really? That's crazy. Shit, I wish I could only smoke a cigarette, or I only smoked a cigarette every 2 hours. I wish I could do that. FPS, I can totally relate to wanting to be on the block and chilling rather than working. Oh, man, I would. This is like, I had been maybe for like a year just hustling. You know what I mean? No schedule, no nothing, other than when my daughter was with me. Every other week when I had her, I didn't drink, I didn't do coke, I didn't do nothing. I just spent time with her and did things with her, and you know what I mean? But she'd go to her mom's for the week, and that's it. I was outside. You know what I mean? I was doing my fucking thing. And I was working that. I got that job like maybe a year later. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to work. Fuck it. I didn't want my daughter to see that I wasn't working and shit. She probably already had her suspicions of what I was up to, and I went and got that job at that printing place. And I when I would come back to the block, it was like all these dudes. I'm not gonna mention names, but my neighbors, the whole fucking block was just us. It was a bunch. Every house was like a different little crew of guys. You know what I mean? Fucking Mexicans, black dudes, like just fucking. So we would all just be out chilling, partying every night. And when I was working, I'd come back just to pull up to my crib, run in, do a couple lines, and go back to work. And I would see all them out there chilling. I'd be saying what's up to them and all that. Everybody's outside drinking and getting fucked up. And I'm like, oh my God. This is where I want to be. And that job didn't last that long. I used to I didn't even like, and I'm somebody who never wants to be at home or, even in my town, any chance I get to leave, I like to, but for a few years there, man, that fucking block was like, it was like crack to me. Like I couldn't fucking leave it. I loved it. Even when we would go out of town to see family or something, I couldn't wait to get back to the fucking block. I couldn't wait. It's just where I wanted to be. It's where all the action was. You know what I mean? There was shit every fucking night, fights, fires, you know what I mean? All kinds of crazy shit going on, shootings. And for some fucking reason, I was drawn to that shit. I loved it. I did my whole life. I think I liked being in dangerous situations and stuff. I don't know. But there was always action. Like the guy that set the fucking boarding house on fire a few doors down from me, and fucking, the murders that were going on in the neighborhood. And for some reason, I liked that shit. As sick as that is, I like being in that environment. So when we would leave, if I take my daughter to maybe to see some family, for a day or two, bring her back to her mom's, and boom, I'm back on the fucking block. Like that's where I wanted to be. I was so excited just to pull up. But I drive sometimes in my old neighborhood, and that neighborhood at the time, I was there for 7-8 years. I drive down that street and shit, and I'm like, psh. A lot of good memories, but a lot of bad ones. The thing is, though, when you're in it, you don't realize you're making bad memories. You don't realize that the shit that's happening is actually fucking horrible. It's just exciting to you for whatever reason, be it your addiction to drugs, your addiction to alcohol, your addiction to the streets, or all of them combined. And for me, it was all of them combined. That was like my world. I loved it. I loved it. Let me see. Work a normal job, make 120 a day, sell coke and weed, make 400 to 500 a day in 1 to 2 hours, and do whatever with my day. It's no comparison. Exactly. Just imagine that every day you wake up, you go outside to see who's out there. All your friends are right outside, across the street, down the block, right in front of your crib, next door, or whatever. And you just start, getting high and drinking and fucking, early in the day. And then you're making runs because you're selling drugs. So you're constantly hopping in your car, driving to wherever, dropping shit off, coming back. You're counting your fucking money all day. It's a great day. You're just making a fucking ton of money, doing nothing. But there's always that thrill of the chase, like the cops would be around. Like, I remember it was like one time we were on the block. It was these dudes, Gio and his people, all Mexicans at his crib next door to him. It was I won't get into names, like I said. It was another dude and his crew. Next door to me was this chick, JC, and her boyfriend. And, they were doing shit. And, like the whole block, shit was going on. And I remember one day we're all out on the block. And from around Dewey Street onto Poplar comes the DTs, the Drug Task Force. You know what I mean? Fucking flying, like 5 different SUVs, vroom, right around the block. Now we fucking we immediately started running, of course, but we were running into our cribs because we saw that they kept going. Once we saw that they kept going, we knew they were going somewhere to raid someone, but it wasn't us yet. So what do we got to do is clean fucking house. I remember running into my house and grabbing fucking mad coke and scales and fucking guns and everything. And, taking them somewhere else in the neighborhood, we'll just say, to stash them and shit, somebody else's crib. And that one day that it happened, it was actually this dude on the next block, on the 1200 block. And, he got raided, but it was like the excitement of, that at any given moment, the Drug Task Force could pull up on you and fucking raid you or something, or just lock you up on the spot because they got you on so many controlled buys already or whatever. And, it was the excitement of just running into the crib, grabbing all your shit, getting it out of there. Everybody in the block is cleaning out their fucking house, like within minutes. It's funny as fuck. Shit like that, man. I just used to thrive off of it. The adrenaline rush of it all. I fucking loved it. That's why I told you yesterday, man, when I talk about this transition for me is very difficult. I'm used to constant action. I was my whole fucking life. And, it's different now. I love my life now. Like I said, I would not trade it for that street life. No matter what. But there are so many aspects I miss. I miss having that adrenaline rush. I miss feeling like the bad guy who's trying to get away with everything. And, I know that there's cops and robbers, looking for me or out to get me. I love that shit. I like my life being at risk. I liked all that. And sometimes I catch myself to this very day and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And again, when I say that, it makes it sound like I don't want to be here. That's not what I mean. It's like I don't belong here. Whether I love it or hate it, I don't belong here. I belong back there doing what I was doing. So I catch myself. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, look at me. Like, just years ago, 6-7 years ago, I was not even, just over 5.5 years ago, whatever. I was, making runs all day and all night. And I was getting fucked up and I was partying and I was with mad different girls and, just living a crazy life. And now it's like, now that sounds like fun. I know. But it could be a nightmare sometimes compared to a stable home life. But then there's the other part of it that was fun. It's hard for me to explain. Sometimes I think about that life and I miss it because I loved it. Sometimes I think about that life and I'm so glad I'm away from it because I, at the same time, kind of hated it. And sometimes you don't even realize you hate it till you're away from it. You think you're loving it. Maybe you are at the time. And then once you leave it, you're like, wait a minute, this is what my life was like? Pure chaos from day to fucking night. People getting killed, shootings, fucking robberies, cops, drug task force, all types of wild shit happening all the time. Constantly, I won't say being on the run, but knowing that you're under surveillance and there's cops, trying to set you up and all types of shit. It's like, it's It's wild, you know. But sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I'm so fucking glad I'm away from it that I couldn't be more grateful. It's weird. It's hard for me to explain, but it's both things. But then there's nights like last night, you know, where I'm sitting there with my whole family, you know, and I'm eating a good dinner, and I know that we still have things we're gonna do after dinner. We got plans, and you know, I think then about those times, and I say, do you know how many fucking birthdays? And this is my own fucking fault. I was in a situation where I was all by myself. You know what I mean? Like years where I like well, I won't get into all that, but there was times, you know, where I I was luckily I never spent a birthday in jail actually. Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, 4th of July, all that type of shit, but never Easter even, but never my birthday. But in the hotels, whatever I was doing, you know, I sometimes even just at home alone, you know, and I was suicidal. It was like pure misery, you know, and there was holidays, other holidays like that too, like I just mentioned, and it's like this is all happening to me because of my own stupid ass choices. Like I'm sitting here, I have a whole family, but I'm all alone on my fucking birthday, and whose fault is it but my own? You know what I mean? I'm all alone. So nights like last night remind me that there's nothing about that life that I want back. I might miss it, but I don't want it back because there were some bad times, or even birthdays where I was just fucked up the whole goddamn day, or I had to stay away from my family because I didn't want them to see the condition I was in. You know. So nights like that remind me of why this is where I belong now. FPS, that Joe Perino interview was fantastic. What an interesting guy he is. Thank you, man. Yeah, he is. He really is. Good dude. All those dudes. But Joe has an interesting story. Lilo Brancato was crazy. All that Trump COVID talk. Yeah, fucking asshole. Can you imagine how I felt like that? Like, you guys didn't know my politics back then. Imagine how I felt about that shit while he was saying it. I wanted to jump through the screen and rip his heart out. And not to mention you're ruining the fucking interview, but just your opinions alone make me fucking hate you while you're sitting right here in front of me. It's like, you fucking piece of shit. That dude, let's not even talk about that dude. Let's just say I would never ask him for another interview. That's for goddamn sure. Nah, fuck that. That lunatic with his fucking right-wing conspiracy theories. Maniac. When I was slamming dope, I burned holes in all of my clothes. Don't miss that. Yeah, fuck that, man. I a couple of times with cigarettes burn holes in clothes, and I wanted to fucking jump off a building. I couldn't imagine, doing it from getting high and ruining mad clothes. Oh, not on this show, Frank. We're just doing addiction and recovery now. Muggs the King, what's up? Jason Mikesell, FBS absolutely. First day out, I got lightheaded from the first Newport, like when I first started. Yeah, that's what'll happen. Being free too, after a few months in lockup feels good too. You appreciate freedom a lot more when you lose it. Oh my God. I just said that to somebody recently who did a little bit of time. I said, you'll never think the same again. You'll never take freedom for granted again. It's like all you got to do is lose it. That's why I say sometimes the best things. Well, let me put it this way: some people need to go to jail. You know what I mean? I'll see people on here. I'll be like, you know what your fucking problem is? You never been to jail. You know what I mean? Especially people who just waste their time on here all fucking day, every day, and don't go out. They're not experiencing life. It's like if you've ever done any type of time, no matter how little, you probably wouldn't be living like that. You know what I mean? You want to fucking take advantage of your fucking freedom. Go out and have fun. Even like I remember even after the first time I went to jail, like when I was back home, it was like just being able to get up in the middle of the night and go to your kitchen and make something to eat, a fucking sandwich or something, was like the greatest feeling in the world. You know what I mean? You're not having anybody tell you what to do, when you can do this, when you can't do that, all that shit. You know, it's you appreciate freedom a lot more, man, after you've lost it. A lot fucking more. Definitely. I quit smoking after my stroke, which was 9 years ago, and I gained 50 pounds and having a hard time getting it off. Well, listen, having that 50 pounds on is probably still better than smoking every fucking day, you know? So just work on it. Over time, you'll lose it. The stroke, my mom had one a few months ago. I have a genetic propensity towards it. Ugh. I don't even want to think about all that shit, man. I don't even want to think about that shit. Like, all the fucking health issues in my family, it's like, God fucking mighty. No, I did, Jason. I did for a long time. But I was like coughing up blood after so many years of it. No bullshit. So I fucking switched to Marlboro Menthol. But I that's how I started out. I started out smoking Newports, and I did for years. But yeah, the hood, yeah, that's, you go in a real hood store, chances are the only cigarettes you're gonna find are fucking Newports. Everybody in the hood. You got a port? No, but I got a different type of cigarette. Is that all right? Everybody wants a port. You got a port? Come on, man. It's funny. It's like that. It's the only type of cigarettes they know in the hood. You will not find anybody in the hood smoking any other fucking type of cigarettes. It's sad to waste the money. I could use that for better things. It really is stupid. $12.50 a pack. Damn. I calculated this shit a while ago, and I was like, I could buy a pair of Jordan 1s every week with what I spent on smoking. No bullshit. Not Jordan, 3s or 4s or 11s or 12s or 13s, but 1s. I could buy a pair every single fucking week. Probably even the high tops, not just mids. The money is it's insane. I mean, you know me, guys. I'm fortunate enough that I just buy shit. I'm not really focused on prices, but like I'll buy a bunch of stuff at once. I'll buy like 4 or 5 packs of cigarettes, a gallon of fucking iced tea or something, a couple of other things I might need. So I just pay whatever the price is. But the other day, well, a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, I bought just 1 pack. And that shit was like $11 and change. And I said, What? I said to the girl, you must have made a mistake. She's like, no, that's what they cost. The last time I paid attention to the cigarette prices, they were like $8.50 or $9 a pack. That's what I thought they still were. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And then I calculated like how much I smoke, which is a lot. And I'm like, oh my God, the fucking money. I could fucking drive a Cadillac. That's a Cadillac payment every fucking month. It's unbelievable. It's insane. We could have a whole extra fucking car, a nice SUV or something, I am so far behind. Let me get towards the bottom here. Hold on. Oh my God, I didn't realize there was that many comments. Holy fucking shit. Let me start like up here. A big part of the psychology of addiction is chasing that feeling from your first high. Oh my God, yeah. I told you, I spent years trying to get that feeling back from the first, not just the first time, the first few times I did cocaine. Yeah. But with some drugs, yeah, it's the first time. Like people always told me that about dope and shit. It's that first fucking time you get high, you'll never get it back ever. Yeah, I feel like my generation, millennials, we were the last ones to want to go out and chill and be outside in the block rather than being inside just on the computer gaming or whatnot. Oh yeah, of course, man. These kids, I'm not one of those people that sits around and talks about this generation sucks and blah blah blah, and like an old fucking whiny old man. But our generation, Jason, was the last great generation. That's all I have to say. Well, technically, you're what are you, 30, 38, 39? So you're technically not my generation, but still, your generation was probably the last generation that was like that. The fucking, I don't know, like, what are we on now, for fuck's sake? There's millennials, and what's after that? Gen Z, and now there's something else. Now there's a new one. I forget what that's called. The fuck is it called? Gen Z and this new generation, I guess. Yeah, they don't understand. They don't know. Even my daughter, like, she was always out. I always had her out and stuff and doing things. She didn't sit in the house, at all. But she doesn't know what it's like to use a payphone to call your friends or to call for a ride home. I said to my daughter's mom once, I said, she will never in her motherfucking life hear a busy signal ever. How crazy is that? You know what I mean? Like, and some of those memes are true too. Like, the street lights, you don't even know what that's like. Street lights come on, time to go home. You know what I mean? A lot of things, it's different. But yeah, sitting inside, they'll never experience the things we experienced. You know what I mean? They'll never experience that shit. The fun, man. Even being out with your friends, riding your fucking bike or doing something, like even out playing basketball or just having fucking fun somewhere. They don't just hanging out on the block with your friends, just standing on a corner, chilling, whatever. They won't understand it. They'll never know what that's like. And even my stepson, he's going out and hanging out with friends more, but for years it was like all he did was sit in that room and play fucking video games. And I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine living my childhood like that. Fuck that. You're missing everything. You should already be, I don't give a fuck if you're 11 years old. You should already be hanging out with girls and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. But that's how these fucking kids communicate with each other now. It's all like social media and video games. Like, they meet their friends through fucking video games and shit. It's like, what the fuck? I don't understand that. I always loved being outside, man. That's what I wanted to do all the time, all the time. Especially in Queens, like growing up during that time in Queens, like you're always out. Everybody's outside. You know what I mean? So you're always doing something. There's places to hang out, all different shit you do, just being, like I said, on the block, chilling. But I don't even know what that's like. What are the boroughs like? Are the kids still out, or are they in the fucking house there too? What's going on? I can't show my face in my ex's neighborhood. I might not have. Why is that, Alex? I might have missed an earlier comment. My brother had an interesting take on it, though. We were talking one time because my nephew was like that for a few years. He just stayed inside and played video games, and my brother wanted him outside. But then he became okay with, my nephew being inside. And I asked him why, and he said, "Well, listen, man, look at the world, bro." He said, "I'd rather have him safe in his room, fucking playing video games than fucking, out shooting dope or fucking getting, hitting a mass shooting or all this other crazy shit that goes on every day." And I was like, well, I guess it is kind of a new world. So I understand that to some extent, but you have to take those risks. You gotta, that's life. Anything could happen at any time, but you gotta live life. You can't worry about those things. I got arrested for selling crack cocaine, I'm assuming, CC. They had a 6-month investigation on me, my plug, and all my customers. You think you make a sale and you're in the clear, but they're working on you. Oh, Allie, that's exactly what happened to me. Yeah. The first controlled buy I got set up on, they arrested me 10 months later. The only thing that was fucked up is when I drove away, almost immediately there was an undercover behind me, and he actually pulled me over like maybe a mile away. And he told me, and I was in a brand new, this is in 99. You guys remember when the Kia Sportage came out? I just got one of those little SUVs. And I was driving on 30, and the fucking cop pulls me over, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I figured I had marked the money, so I tried to stash the money in the crack of the seat, like where the top of the seat meets the bottom. And he came over, and he's like, hey, you got a tail light that's flickering. And I'm thinking to myself, on a brand new car? How's that possible? But he was like, let me just see your ID. I'm just going to give you a warning. So I gave him my license. I kind of did know something was up, because I'll tell you what I did next, but I wasn't positive. He checked my ID, comes back to me with a warning, and he lets me go. And I'm like, well, let me go check this out. I take the SUV to my brother's house. And I'm like, I want you to check the light while I got my foot on the brake and everything. Is there flickering at all? Because I already got out and looked, and I didn't see any flickering, but I'm thinking maybe something with the brake light. I didn't know. My brother's like, bro, it's fine. There's nothing wrong at all. So I was like, oh, shit. This had to do with that sale I just made. You know what I mean? And the next day, the kid that set me up asked for an 8-ball of Coke. And I said, yeah, bro, 3:00, I'll meet you in the same place. And I never showed up. Then about a week later, he calls me. Now he wants to buy a gun. I was like, all right, bro, sorry I missed you last time. Meet me there. I'll bring you the ball and the gun. And I never showed up. I knew what was going on. Finally, they stopped trying. I wasn't positive, but I had a pretty good feeling I got set up. And then they fucking, one day I get arrested. Of course, I was at a hotel. But that time was just, we were with some girls. We got a hotel room for the night, me and a friend. And they arrested me. They arrested me on that. You want to hear something funny? What happened was we got the hotel room, right? And we had 2 girls, me and a friend, JR, right? This kid was a wild man. This motherfucker he was like a fucking one-man army. This dude was, like I heard stories about him since he was a little kid. They said he was violent. He was stealing cars when he was 12, 13. He was fucking shooting at people. He was doing crazy shit. This kid was a fucking maniac. And me and him were together, and we had these 2 chicks. We brought them back to the hotel room. We did our thing, right? I, of course, get fucked up out of my mind and pass out. All 3 of them got up and left me there. They couldn't wake me up. So I'm in the fucking room after checkout time. So the cops get a key from the front desk because the front desk called the cops, because I had the lock on the door and shit. They get a key, but they still, like I said, can't get in because of the little slide lock or whatever the fuck it would, that other lock where you close the thing and there's like a little ball in there. You know what I'm talking about. So they kicked the door open. And I'm completely naked in bed in the hotel room. And they fucking shake me awake. And they tell me that I'm under arrest because I have a warrant. Now, the room was in JR's name. So they said, you have a warrant for, it was some bullshit. It was like a little nothing thing. And, like a bench warrant or some bullshit. And they said, we're going to take you in, whatever. And they said, I said, I don't understand. How do you know my name? And they told me the name. And I said, that's not me. That is not me. That's the guy that was here. Dude, he left. He's gone. I mean, I said, my name is Chris Lodrago. And then they ran my name and said, oh, well, you have a warrant, a felony warrant from the York County Drug Task Force. I said, I'm fucking around. I'm JR. I'm just playing. They were like, yeah, no, too late. So I got arrested that day. And they told me when I didn't know what the fuck it was for. And then when they took me, for my bail hearing or whatever, arraignment, whatever the fuck it is, the judge was like, yeah, you you made a sale on this date. It was like October 10th of 99 or something. Was it October? Something like that. I forget. And what did they say? Oh, they told me about this. It was a wine and spirits parking lot, a liquor store in this place off Carlisle Road in like West York. And I remembered exactly who I met there. That's how I knew who it was. Because I remembered after I met him there, as soon as I pulled out of that parking lot, the undercover started following me. So I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So then I knew what was going on. But when I got my lawyer, I'm like, I don't understand. Why the fuck did they wait 10 months to pick me up? And he's like, well, you, he said they were building a case. What they'll do is they'll get you on a controlled buy, and then they'll maybe, they'll decide they want a larger quantity or a different drug or something. They'll keep trying to get you on worse and worse shit. And then finally, when they used up their informant or whatever it is, they feel like they got enough on you, they'll bust you. So I'm like, that's why. The next day it wasn't weed no more, it was coke. And then after that, it was a gun. They were going to try to get me selling weed, coke, a gun, and who knows whatever else. So I was like, wow, that's fucked up, man. They just let me skate. I thought I knew something was up, something didn't seem right. But at the time, I didn't know that much about the drug game. I was still kind of young. I'm like, it just didn't make sense why I. And here's the fucked up part. Like a month before that, I was actually working. I was delivering fucking pizza, and I got pulled over because I was speeding. And they ran a missile on me and nothing. So I said to the fucking lawyer, I'm like, but why? How come I just got pulled over and there was no warrant? Then a month later, I get caught in a hotel room and there is a warrant. And he said, because they're not going to lock anybody up until they use their informant up. In other words, as long as that informant is giving them controlled buys and setting people up, they're not going to arrest anybody, because say they would have arrested me right away, their informant's done. Because the first thing I'm going to do is go on the street and say, so-and-so set me up. You know what I mean? That's the first thing I would do. And then everybody would know not to fuck with them. So they'll just quietly let this guy set people up, different groups of people, different individuals, buying all types of different things, drugs, guns. And then when they're done with them, when he's got nothing else to give them, they issue all the warrants and people start getting locked up. This motherfucker set up 43 people in New York City. And you know why? He was this big bodybuilding motherfucker, and he got caught with like a ton of fucking like $10,000 worth of anabolic steroids or some shit. Yeah, he gave a bunch of people up. Crazy. I was arrested. I get to the station. All my associates were there. We all got busted together. Yeah, that's how it happens sometimes. FBS, I get it, man. When I was growing up, guys your age was who I'd look up to and want to hang out with, being on the block, getting into shit. Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah, man. And I had my old heads, you know what I mean? I had my old heads that fucking, we emulate them to some extent and fucking, I don't know. They school us, I definitely had some old heads that schooled me, man, on every fucking thing. I get how appealing that is. It is. That's true, FBS. I always said that Coke ruined my drinking. Yeah, isn't that some shit? And sometimes drinking ruins your Coke. Just depends. The game changed too much. You don't even know what you're selling today. No, you don't. It's fentanyl nowadays. Yeah. Because no matter what, you'll always want it after the first sip. Oh, you mean like that? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It will fuck up. It will fuck up your drinking, because you can't just drink. And there was a time when you could drink and you'd enjoy being drunk. But then once, you got that cocaine shit in your mind, it's like you can't even fucking enjoy drinking without the Coke to go along with it. That shit is dangerous. It kills people. Fentanyl, yeah, fucking certainly does. I don't mind selling blow, but I don't want someone's death on my conscience. No, me neither. That's why I would never sell heroin. I would never sell heroin. me and some friends met a dude that had just robbed a major drug dealer in New York City, heroin dealer, and he had fucking thousands of bundles of fucking heroin, that he got from this house, and he was selling the fucking bundles for $40 a piece. So we were like, well, shit, we could grab a ton of them, $40 a piece. You could sell them for $1.10, easy. You know what I mean? Like to these dope fiends and shit, but I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? It was like, it's just not worth it. I can't do it. I can't have that on my conscience. It wasn't worth it to me. I'm loving this show, FBS, so much. So I'm watching while I'm supposed to be working. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, bro. It's because you wanted to be alone. It was the same for me. You don't want to see people when you're fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, FBS, that's the part that would kill my soul, brother. The look of hurt on people's faces that care about me when they would see me in that fucked up condition. Oh, yeah, man. There's things, man, I don't know if I ever told you guys about this, but there was one thing. I can't explain it because it's going to sound stupid. I think I did. I think I did once when I got that news about my mom, but there was one night she wanted to do something for me. It was a little thing. It was like, or with me, I should say. And she found me at a hotel, of course. Okay, because that's another thing about the hotels. Sometimes when you just want to get fucked up, like kind of like Alex said, that's where you'll go. You know what I mean? But it was actually me and a friend. We got mad coke and we were like, fuck it, let's just hang out and fucking get some girls or whatever. And, get high. This way nobody would bother us. Because back then we were younger and every fucking buddy was concerned because they saw we were starting to get fucked up. You know what I mean? And my mom came and found me there, and let's just say I fucked everything up, and for the rest of my life since then, it nagged at me, that I didn't get to do this specific thing with my mom, it ate away at me because it's like I saw the heartbreak in her face that fucking night when she saw that there was nothing she was going to do to get me to leave there, At this point, you don't understand how coked up I was. I was damn near on the verge of cocaine psychosis. I remember we were in the room, every little sound, we're peeking under the door, looking through the fucking peephole and shit, trying to think people are after us. We had been fucked up for days. And I don't know, it just broke my heart. And when we got that news about my mom, I knew that, okay. Now, the reason I never did that thing, I waited so long is because I for some reason, I had this thought in my head that it's one thing I have to do. And once I do it, my mom will die. So I put it off and put it off and put it off. Once we got that news, I did it because it's like, God forbid, I never get to right this wrong, And she knew what was up, though. She told me, I don't want you doing stuff like this. I don't want you to act like I'm dying and stuff. But I had to, Makes sense, FBS. They do put fiberglass in the filter to help you get nicotine quicker. Wait, what were we talking about? Smoking? Oh, you're talking about with the fucking the Newports? Yeah. Show up with a Marlboro Red in the hood and you get laughed off the block. Get fuck out of here. Yeah. The way I always knew it, at the very least in the hood, you had to smoke menthols. Even if they weren't Newports, you smoked menthols. But the hillbilly motherfuckers, they always got the Marlboro Reds, man. Always. That's what they smoke, like cowboys. Brooklyn, Lilo messaged me about 4 years ago and sent me nudes. I have a really hard time believing that dude is sober, not after the behavior I saw. Yeah, I don't want to say that he's not sober. I'll just say that on that show, I didn't think he was sober. When I interviewed him, I didn't think so. I didn't think so at all. I had no reason to believe that this guy wasn't fucked up at the time. And if you guys look at my face, and several of you mentioned it while he was talking, I was sitting here like, I had this look on my face like, oh my God, this whole fucking thing is a train wreck. This is my first like celebrity interview. You know, it was, I only had my channel for like 2 months, if that, at the time. And I'm interviewing this guy who to me was a big deal because it's like, this is fucking a Kalogita. You know what I mean? Like, this is fucking, I couldn't, it's Robert De Niro's son from A Bronx Tale. It's the greatest fucking thing ever. I was looking forward to that so much, man. He fucking ruined that whole thing with his politics and his bullshit and the way he was acting. And yeah, that guy is Brooklyn. I know exactly what you mean. You know, he fucked with Nadu pretty hard. He went after him, attacked him. He fucking he's done it to several people. You know, if he don't get what he wants out of them or whatever, you know, he throws a tantrum. Men who think sending unsolicited nudes to a woman is a way to her heart. Yeah, oh my God, these fucking people. You know what I mean? First of all, you know, I don't know. If anything, that should be a chick thing. You know, a chick's body, the female body is like art fucking work. A man's body is fucking disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody, in my mind, even chicks just tolerate it. They don't really want to see a dude nude. They just tolerate. I know that's probably not true, but I just can't imagine how they would want to. But yeah, sending a chick nudes is like, it's got to be an instant turnoff. Like, this guy's a fucking scumbag. Like, he don't even fucking know me and he thinks I want to see his dick. Like, I would imagine that's how they would feel about it. When I was younger, I smoked Newport Lights because no one in the suburbs would bum them within a year. Them were picky anymore. I think you fucked up what you said. Them were picky anymore. They weren't picky anymore. Is that what you meant? I'm not sure. No, that's a good strategy though. $1.50 when I started smoking. But yeah, I think they were only $1.75 or $2 when I started smoking. I think. I remember when they went up to $2.50, everybody was pissed off. $2.50. Now it's like, my God, I can't even, as cheap as I am too. It's like, I think about all the shit I won't buy. Like, I was out the other day shopping and there were some things I wanted. I'm like, no, I just can't spend the money right now. And then I go to the store and I spend $70 on cigarettes. And I'm like, the thing I wanted was only $60. Like, and I wouldn't buy that, something that I could have for years. But this shit, I'm going to smoke it away in a couple of days. Like, that's addiction, man. It's crazy, but it would make sense to drive to Virginia and rent a van and load it up. LOL at $5 a pack in Virginia. Well, one of my friends, the dude that got busted by Homeland Security for all the knockoff shit and all that crazy stuff and the gift card scam, he would do that. He went to Indian reservations in New York and he would bring back like a fucking van load of cigarettes and sell them here. That's how he stocked his store. I can't do that, bro. That I ain't doing. It's already takes up fucking too much of my life smoking. I ain't fucking spend my time rolling cigarettes. Yeah. I remember that, Chris. Because back then I was smoking Newports. Yep. And they had the Marlboro menthol packs. They used to do that too. It'd be like a 4-pack of them. It would be real cheap, or buy one, get one free. Or they had all different promotions. Now you ain't getting none of that. 100s is the same as the normal ones. The filter is much longer, but the tobacco is the same. Yeah. 2001, $4.40 a pack. And that was in New York too. So imagine what they were here. They're probably half that. You got me reconsidering my day. I'm supposed to be picking up a couple of hundred. What the fuck is that? What is that word? I don't know what that is. I'm 39, so I'm a millennial. I was born in 85. Oh, yeah, you're a millennial. Definitely. But still, you especially you grew up in New York, bro. You know what it's like. You know what I mean? You want to be outside. You want to be on the stoop at the very least, chilling, But I don't know. It blows my mind that kids are the way they are these days. It was so much fun back then. So much fun. They could raise the price. Please don't to $25 and people would pay that. Yeah, unfortunately. Something like that. Yeah. I'll tell you this, though, Frank, $25, that's it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not smoking. I'm not saying people won't, but I won't. I'm done after that. All I know is I don't see kids playing street hockey or football anymore. Oh, no, none of that. Fuck no. Funny you say that. My son, when he was 9, asked me what a payphone was. Yeah, well, my daughter was little. They were still around, but they weren't necessary. You know what I mean? I had a cell phone, and we had a house phone, but payphones weren't necessary because you had a cell. But would you let your 8-year-old daughter go outside? 8-year-old daughter? Why that age specifically? Go outside? I mean, it depends on the situation. Who is she with? Is she with me? Is she with friends? Is she with? And it would depend on the area. You know what I mean? I don't know. Hi, Jason. Don't think I want that many C2 drugs around me due to the. What are they? What are you talking about? What the fuck is that? Money is crazy. You can buy $30 in retail, 100 milligram pill for 30. I don't know what the fuck that is, man. I have no idea. What time is it? Oh fuck, guys! I gotta take my stepson shopping. Probably, Jason. Well, the drug sentences are draconian here. They're fucking sick. So today is DEA Fentanyl Awareness Day. Is that right? Well, okay. Is it symbolic? Maybe they should do a little more than that. Try to fucking stop the problem. But okay, that's something, I guess. I gotta go take my stepson shopping, guys. I gotta go. Thank you for everything. I know this wasn't all about addiction. I mean, it really was, because that's all we really talked about was even the hanging out on the block shit and all that. A lot of times it comes back to drugs and stuff like that. Most of it was, but we veered off a little. It is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll do another one next Wednesday at 1. We'll stay more focused on addiction and recovery. So thank you guys for everything. Please go to here, write these numbers down. God damn it. I know you already have them, but I don't give a fuck. Put them up again. National Addiction Hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And please, I'm begging you, go to nextdistro.org. Okay? Watch a little video, take a little quiz, fill out your info, and get your free Narcan. Do it for me. I'd appreciate it very much. Do it so you could save a life someday, And that's it. I love you guys. Oh, it's a painkiller? Okay, I never even heard of that. All right, guys, I love you all. And until next time, salute.